Hi everyone, my name's Sarah and today I'm going to have a look again at my Make 9 for 2025 and let you know how my progress is going. If we haven't met before, I live in Melbourne, Australia with my two boys aged 8 and 10. I work as a music teacher and in my spare time I love to sew and knit. My Make 9 this year was a combination of sewing and knitting patterns, and I thought it would be interesting to have a look and see how far I've got with them and also see if I'm still interested in making the ones that I haven't made. So let's get started with the first one. I'm going to go from top to bottom, left to right. So starting at the top row, in the first position, we have the Tamarama Set by Swim Style Patterns. This one I have successfully ticked off the list. I made this with a beautiful designed fabric by Pascal Dilger. I absolutely love the colors and the design of this fabric. I think it's a lightweight linen cotton. When I talked about this one on the channel, I did have a lot of feedback about whether it looked like pajamas or whether it looked like a cute set. And I think the consensus was if I tried wearing it with cute sandals and a bag and actually accessorized the outfit, I could pull it off. I haven't actually had the chance to do that yet. So I haven't made any alterations to it yet. I am heading to Queensland in a couple of months, so I might give it a try then. I'll see how I feel about it then. At the moment, I have worn the shirt separately, but I haven't worn the two items together as a set. The shorts, I have to say, are not my favorite shorts. It's quite a basic pair of shorts. There's no real feature about them that makes them special. And I think the thing that I don't love about them is the thickness of the waistband. So the elastic is quite a thin waistband compared to what I prefer to wear. And I just feel, especially the shorts, give off quite a vibe of pajamas. I haven't tried wearing these separately yet. We'll see. Now the shirt is quite oversized. I mean, the pattern is designed to be oversized, but it's really quite oversized. But I find that the collar is quite small compared to the size of the sleeves. And I'm just not sure about how I feel about that. When I have worn the shirt, I have to admit that a couple of times throughout the day, I have, because the armhole is so big or the sleeve is so big, I've had that really annoying experience of walking into a room and then getting pulled back because my sleeve has been caught on the door handle. So not my favorite. Anyway, I absolutely love this fabric and it's one that I waited for almost a year to arrive. So I definitely want to wear the fabric. So if I find that I don't get wear out of it over the holiday or the upcoming summer, I will probably repurpose this one. But it was one that I have ticked off the list. The second pattern on the list is the Shelby Dress and Romper by True Bias. I love the look of this pattern. It comes as either a dress or a romper in either a short length or a long length. I am going to make the dress when I make this. I'm not really interested in making the romper version, but I do love the look of the dress. This one I'm going to wait until later in the spring or early summer to make. I'll reassess what I really want in a dress and then make it then. I think most likely I'd make the long one. I'm not someone who wears short dresses all that often. I think with the V neckline as well, this wouldn't be something I wear to school. So I'm probably going to end up making something that's more kind of nighttime appropriate, or so I'm going to have a good think about what occasion I would actually wear this dress to and whether it's worth investing in this one, because if I was to make the long one, I would need quite a bit of fabric for it. So yeah, this one is a maybe on the list still, and I'm going to reassess once it gets warmer. The third item in the list is the Tatjana Trousers by Just Patterns. I have bought the pattern and I have bought the fabric for this. So this one is definitely going to get made, but I think it will probably be closer to spring arriving. I find that in the winter, I just tend to want to wear tights, boots, long dresses, things that are going to keep me really cozy. And the fabric that I've bought for these pants is a viscose linen. And to me, it's got a little bit of a cooler hand feel that I don't feel like I'd be reaching for in the winter. So this one I'm going to put off for a little bit longer, but I do love the look of this pattern. What I love about it is how high-waisted it is and with the belt loops and these lovely pleats on the front. I just love how sleek these pants look. I hope I'll be able to pull them off. My legs are on the shorter side. I'm around 160 centimeters tall, but I think I do have a long torso in comparison to my legs. And yeah, I'm not someone who loves to wear heels to work anymore. I used to wear them to work a lot, so I would be wearing these pants with flats. So I'm hoping to get a good fit on them and for these to become a really, really hardworking pair of pants in my work wardrobe. I can imagine wearing them pretty much all year, perhaps apart from winter. So yes, another one that I'm going to look forward to making once the weather gets a little bit warmer. So that takes us into the second row of my grid. And the first thing on the second row is the Glowhair Frost Shawl by Stephen West. Now, this was a pattern he released at the end of 2024 as his Hyber Knit Along pattern. So each year he releases a pattern that he then encourages people to cast on at the end of December and then knit through the winter, assuming you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So for me, for the last couple of years, I have enjoyed casting this on after Christmas and then knitting through January and beyond. And this is the second thing I can tick off my Make 9 so far this year. I used a kit of yarns that I bought from a shop in New Zealand called Get Flocked. This particular pattern uses a fade of fingering weight yarn and then also matching lace weight yarns. And I really wanted a pink colorway for mine. So that's what I have used. So mine starts with a sort of a cashew color and then goes into pale pink and dark pink. And then you keep alternating, but getting darker as you go down the shawl. And then you end up with a chevron stripe that combines all of the different colors. So this was an absolute joy to knit. I love the, I've made 2 Hyber Knit Along patterns in a row now, and I've loved them both. One thing that I love about them is just, you tend to have, or at least the 2 that I've done, is that you have a section that has a particular knitting stitch, and then you move on to another section, and then basically when you feel like you've had enough of that, it's pretty much time to start the next section. It really keeps you interested throughout, and then just seeing all those different patterns and then the way the colors work together is really enjoyable. So I've had a lot of wear out of that already. It's a beautiful size. It wraps around really nicely. I generally wear my shawls kind of like that if I'm not wearing a jacket. If I'm wearing a jacket as well, I'll wear it more like a scarf. But I find it really handy to keep a shawl or 2 at work, moving between warm and cooler spaces. It's really easy to just throw on a shawl. And this one has gotten quite a bit of wear already this winter. So that is the second thing I've ticked off my Make 9, the Glowhair Frost Shawl by Stephen West. The next pattern in that row is another knitting pattern, and it is the Cold Hearts Cowl by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. Now I put this one on because last year my colour work, my very first colour work pattern, didn't really go to plan. I ended up with a jumper that didn't fit me, but I really enjoyed doing the colour work. So I wanted to put on a new colour work pattern this year and try that. So I thought I would go with something nice and simple, something small, and so that is why the cowl went on. I have actually made another colour work pattern in the meantime by the same designer, but I haven't got onto this cowl yet. And one of the reasons is that this cowl uses DK weight yarn, and I just don't really have a stash of DK weight yarn. Most of the yarn I have in my stash is leftovers from old projects, and that's usually fingering weight projects because I have made several shawls. And then I have a couple of single skeins that I've received as gifts as well, also in fingering weight. And I don't really have a whole lot of 8-ply. I did receive a 4-month subscription to a yarn club, which is an 8-ply yarn this year. And I've received the yarn for 2 of those months already, but those 2 colors I don't feel like they'd go that well together for this cowl. So I am expecting another one tomorrow, so we'll see what that one looks like. But I think for this project, I'm going to have to make a deliberate purchase. So I haven't done that yet. I feel like for this pattern, the yarns have to be a really high contrast for the pattern to really have that full impact. So yeah, the ones that I have, I mean, I do have a pale blue, and then I have a cream, I just think I'd like something a little bit more punchy. If I'm going to go with one pale, I'd like something dark. So yeah, I've got a couple of pale colors, but I don't have a contrast that I'm happy with. So if I don't receive one that I'm happy with tomorrow in my expected delivery, then I might purchase one instead. But I'm looking forward to making this, and this will be something I make soon because I am right in the depths of winter at the moment, and I know if I make it soon, it will get worn soon. And the last pattern in this row, also a knitting pattern, is the Stripe Hype Sweater by Kutavakika. And I am so excited to make this one. Again, I haven't made this one, but I'm definitely making this one, and I'm hoping to start this one this week. So this looks like a really gorgeous crew neck sweater, and it is again in DK weight yarn. So I have purchased especially for this pattern, and I've got my striped colors that I'm going to use, but I'm just waiting on my background color to arrive. I've put in an order for that, and again, I'm hoping that arrives tomorrow. It is in the mail at the moment, so I'm fingers crossed. But I'll show you the colors I've got for my stripes. So these are going to go against like a white or a cream background. But I just love these colors. I haven't exactly worked out the order I'm going to put them, but I think they look absolutely beautiful together. And I'm really excited to get started on this pattern. Again, if I start it now, I'm hoping to be able to be wearing it before winter ends. So definitely looking forward to making this one. And this is another one that will be ticked off the list, but it hasn't been yet. So that takes us into the bottom row of my grid. And the first pattern in the last row of the grid is a bomber jacket. Now this one was probably one of the last ones that I decided on that would go on my Make 9. And I did quite a bit of searching for bomber jacket patterns to find what I was looking for. And I'm not sure if I've found it yet. I might have another think about this. What I was thinking about when I put this pattern on my Make 9 was wanting a jacket that I could put over an outfit on a spring or summer night that starts to cool down. So a night that you don't really want to have, a cardigan with you, but kind of a fun bomber jacket. I might put in a picture here of the sorts of ones I really have enjoyed looking at. I think I'd like kind of a longer one. I'm not really sure. I've never owned a bomber jacket before. I've never made a bomber jacket. So this is still kind of in the brainstorming kind of phase. I don't have fabric for this yet. I haven't chosen a pattern. So it's still on there, but time will tell whether this one ends up being made. I do have quite a long list of patterns in like a note on my phone that I also want to get made that aren't in my Make 9. So, and I already have patterns and fabric for those. So they will get made first, and time will tell whether I do return to this bomber jacket idea. Not sure yet. The middle of the row is a quilt. So I am trying to make a quilt each year. And this year I'd like to make the Madeline Quilt by Penelope Handmade. Now last year I made the Standing Tall Quilt by Cedar Quilt Company, and that used pre-cuts, so a jelly roll or fabric strips. And I really enjoyed that. It was really fun to use just those pre-cut fabrics and for some of that cutting to already be done for you. And I decided to look for a pattern that also used those pre-cut strips this year. So the Madeline Quilt does that. And I also decided that I wanted to be able to have a Christmas themed quilt. I love Christmas and I love decorating for Christmas. And I do remember thinking last year that I wish I had a Christmas quilt. I do have a quilt that sort of hangs over the back of one of our couches. It does get used on colder nights. It's nice to snuggle under while we watch movies. And I would love to swap that over for a Christmas themed quilt as we head towards Christmas. So I bought this set of fabric strips. This one's a Riley Blake one. They call it a roly-poly. And the theme of these fabrics is the 12 days of Christmas. So you can see from looking at the cross section, it's, your classic red, gold, white, and it also has some gold in there as well. And all of the pictures are those little elements that you hear in the song. Some of them are also the words of the song. So I think that will look really cute. I haven't started this yet, obviously, but I definitely will make it before Christmas. I'll probably start it in the September holidays, perhaps. I'll still need my background color, which I'm thinking will just be a cream to match this, and also a backing fabric as well. But I've done the main thing, which is choose my pre-cuts, and I'm excited to make this year's quilt. And then the last thing on the list is a Tamarack Jacket by Grainline Studio. This has been on my list for many years. I keep putting it off. This year it's actually happening, and I have started on my toile version, which uses a pink linen outside and a Jennifer Buron print as the lining. And I have made a little bit of progress on this. So for my version, I decided to make quilt sandwiches of the backing, wadding, and the quilt, the top fabric, and quilt it before I cut out my pattern pieces. So I have done that, and I have also cut out a couple of the pattern pieces, and that is the sleeves. So I'll show you, because I just wanted to prove that I have been making progress on this. So here you go. Here's one of the sleeves. As you can see, I just did straight lines of quilting, straight-ish. And then the back, we have our Jennifer Buron design. Now, as you can see, I have cut this out with the pattern upside down, and this was deliberate because really the only time you really see the lining of the jacket, of a quilted jacket, or the main time you see it, is when people turn up their sleeves. So I thought, well, if this is the sleeve and I'm wearing like this and I want to turn up the sleeve, well then that turned up cuff will be facing the right way. So that is why I've cut my sleeve upside down for the print side. So that is on its way. I'm hoping to cut out the other pattern pieces tonight. I was thinking about what has been slowing me down with this project recently, and I think, well, I know it is the next step, which is making the bias binding. I haven't even looked up how much I need to make, but I do know I'll need quite a bit of it, and it just, in my head, seems to be quite a tedious and not that rewarding task. But it is essential in the construction of this jacket, so I have to get started on that. Because I think once I've done that, a lot of the hard work really is done. We'll see. So this one, as I said, is my toile version. I do also have some fabric to make my good version, and that is a beautiful green linen. I'll get it. So this one is going to be the outer fabric for my next version. This is a heavyweight linen that I got from My Design, and I also chose a beautiful cotton lawn from Lady McElroy, also from My Design, to be the lining. So yes, I think this will be unbelievably beautiful, and I definitely wanted to do a toile first because the thought of trying to make a quilt coat for the first time with these very beautiful and expensive fabrics was a little bit too scary. So that is still a goal. If I can get the toile version off, I will give myself a tick on that box for this pattern because it's been that long since I've been saying I was going to do it. But yeah, whether I get up to this one is another story. So yes, we are just over the halfway point of the year, and I have made 2 things on my Make 9 so far. Not quite as many as I thought I would have done at this point, but I know there will be more finishes in the coming months. So I will let you know at the end of the year exactly how many of them I end up finishing, but I will be sharing as I make each one along the way here as well. So I'd be interested to know how you're going with your Make 9 if you did set one up for yourself. Have you made more than 2? Are you still loving everything on your Make 9? Perhaps you've made everything on your Make 9 already. I am now on school holidays for the next 2 weeks. I'm heading down to my parents' beach house tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get a whole lot more knitting and sewing done there. So I'll look forward to catching up with you again next time. And in the meantime, I hope you're well, and I hope you're enjoying making something lovely.